Do we have friends on Zoom? I'd like to take a moment to welcome all of you who are joining us from home. Shabbat Shalom. Happy to have you here, and hope you are well. And we look forward to seeing you in person whenever we can do that. Shabbat Shalom. So, dear friends, this is Shabbat with a Beat, and we have a lot of the beat right here. And we're going to start with a song that's not on there. It's Ki Eshmera, and you can find the words. They just jumped away. Hold on. Sorry. Where did they go? I found them. Page 129. So this Ki Eshmera, it's the second to the last song on page 129. And this is from the Karaite Egyptian melody. So let's practice the words together. They're in Hebrew, not Egyptian. Page 129. Please repeat after me. Ki Eshmera Shabbat.
Shabbat.
El Yishmereni. Oti Le'omead. Beino Uveni. So let's take it from the top. Ready, go. Ki Eshmera Shabbat El Yishmereni Oti Le'omead Beino Uveni. Okay? All right. So I'd like to welcome Roberta to come on up and bring in the lights of Shabbat. Let's all turn to page 120 as we stand. L'chvod Shabbat, in honor of Shabbat, because we love Roberta Malkin. B'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Amen. Shabbat Shalom. Please Shabbat Shalom to one another. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So this week's parsha is Chaye Sarah, the life of Sarah. And we may have the first explicit example of how generational values get passed on. We meet Abraham in this parsha. He is old, very old. It says he's advanced in age and he's worried about his son Isaac. And his main concern seems to be who Isaac is going to choose as a life partner. The problem isn't clear what he wants. We know what he wants. He wants him to find somebody from Nahor, where he is from. The problem is that Abraham is too old, or he doesn't have mobility, and he can't make the shidduch himself. He can't make this arrangement. And Abraham also wants to make sure that the person carries that life partner should have some of the values that he holds dear. And who would know that more than his trusted servant Eliezer? So while Abraham can't go on this looking for a bride kind of journey, he sends Eliezer. Now, Eliezer doesn't really know what he's looking for, but he says what he thinks Abraham would want. He says, here's Eliezer going off many, many, many days of a journey to try to find the town that Abraham is from and find the right woman. Eliezer says, Eternal One, God of my master Abraham, please bring me good fortune today and do a kindness for my master Abraham. Here I am standing at the water well, so that's where he is, and the daughters of the townspeople will come to draw water. If the girl to whom I say, tip your pitcher and let me drink, and she says, drink and let me bring water for your camels too, let her be the one you have designated for Isaac. And sure enough, before he'd even finished his prayer, Rebecca comes with this pitcher on her shoulder. And Eliezer says, let me drink a little water from your pitcher. And she says, drink, sir. And then after he quenches for his thirst, she says, I will draw some water for your camels. And so we imagine Eliezer, the text says that he brought 10 camels with him. We've looked up the research. A camel could go for 15 days without drinking any water. But when it needs water, it needs 20 gallons of water. And there were 10 camels. So this was a great effort of generosity and kindness. And from this small passage of Torah, we get that Abraham somehow got those values handed down to Isaac. In Judaism, we have a phrase for this kind of handing down of values. It's called an ethical will. Maimonides wrote one for his child, and countless others have as well. An ethical will includes lessons from one's own personal life, values, and advice. Like you, I have received and spoken many unspoken and spoken values from my parents. I know for a fact that I am my parents' daughter, and I bring with me many of the values that they said or didn't say explicitly, but I received them and I've shared it with my own. And recently I've heard from my own children that they find themselves saying certain things that I have said to them, and we both laughed how that could have happened. This evening, we are blessed to have 3 of our CVS members, Sharon Bernstein, Eddie Appel, and Eli Swat, who will share with us what they have learned and what they are learning from the values of their parents and grandparents before them. So with that spirit in mind, I'm going to ask you to open your handout and join us in a little Teach Your Children.
truth that you can live by, and so become yourself, because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well, their father's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they pick, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you will cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you. And you of tender years can't know the fears that your elders grew by, and so please help them with your youth. They seek the truth before they can die. Teach your parents well, their children's hell will slowly go by, and feed them on your dreams, the one they picked, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why, if they told you you will cry, so just look at them and sigh, and know they love you.
That was really fun. So, dear friends, let's turn to page 138 and bring in the Sabbath Bride. This is her favorite song. The melody for this Lecha Dudi comes from Turkey. Give us a try.
לקראת כלה, אני שבת מכאנה, וחגוני לקראת כלה, אני שבת מכאנה.
So we imagine the Sabbath bride kind of coming in, maybe leaving the camel outside. Here we go.
אני שבת מכאנה, לחגוני לקראת כלה, אני שבת מכאנה.
Kind of Shabbat bride, midnight at the oasis, kind of, yeah. Page 144, please remain standing. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ביעמד יברכתי וימליך מלכותי, לך יכון ויומכון, ובחייך בית ישראל. בגלה, בגלה, ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו, יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקדושה. לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, ושפחתה נחמתה, תמירן ועמה, ויאמרו. Page 146. Please be seated. So page 148, what have you noticed this week in nature? What have you noticed?
In nature?
It's cold. What else have you noticed? The leaves are really changing. Beautiful. Yes, sir. Julian's thinking. They're incredible. They're incredible, right? Orange and red and yellow. Yes, Joel. Yeah, the red. I know. The rabbi's daughter is here. I know. Ah. That's just. Rabbi's very happy. Okay, so we talk about seasons changing. I tell you, it's like it was just summer, right?
Yep.
School had just started. Okay, so we thank God for the change of the seasons. And what we really ask is that we can be present to the changes, that it didn't just go by, but we were here, right? That we were here. So let's read it in English, and then we will chant the roll into dark together. Baruch, I said English, right? Did I say English? Okay. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tsebaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. And in the middle of the prayer in the Hebrew and in the transliteration, Borei Yom V'Laila. See if you can find it, because we'll be chanting that.
Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night.
On page 150, the essence of Ahavat Olam is that we've been given wisdom, and we should ask questions, use our minds, keep learning. That's the love that's been given to us, this love to keep learning, Ahavat Olam.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha, Amcha, Otanu limata, otanu limata. Adonai Eloheinu b'shokmenu, u'minu nasia lechukecha, v'mitzvot v'divrei Torah, v'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Hayenu, orech yameinu, Uvachem yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. Be'ahavat al tasir, Le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael.
We stand as one for Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Please be seated. Let's turn in our Siddur to page 154. I'd like to invite Jordan and Ben. Page 154.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה שאנוכי מצווה היום ושיננתם לידיעתה ובלבבך בדרך ושופך ומקומך ושרתם דעות על ידיך והיו להם בעיניך ושרתם מזוזות ישמעך ובשעריך למה תגר Asher Hoseiti Me'eretz Mitzrayim Lechol Elohim Ani Adonai Elohim.
So proud of those two young men. So Vyahafta talks about teaching your children and the best values, that the way we love God is how we treat each other. And so I'm going to invite the first of our family members at Beth Shalom to share some about the values that they've inherited from the ones that have taken care of them. Eddie?
Shabbat Shalom. Well, when the rabbi asked me to do this, I agreed, clearly. And, honestly, it wasn't hard for me to come up with a few minutes of talking about what my parents taught me and the values that they passed down to me. I was lucky because I had 4 parents. I had 2 parents and 2 step-parents most of my life. And, I'll start with my mother. My mother, she taught me first and foremost to not take life so seriously, and she laughed a lot. And I think my sense of humor comes a lot from her. She just could laugh at anything, and even sometimes in the hardest of moments, she could still find something to laugh about and to smile. She also taught me to always be kind, and so many other things. My mother was an amazing woman. So my father taught me a lot as well. He taught me about integrity and about my word is my bond. And I'll share a quick story about my father. He was a dentist, very successful man. And I was, early 20s, in college, trying to find my way. And I had just gotten out of the Army and started college, and I had this great idea. When you're young, you have these great ideas. We just need some money to get it going, right? So I went over to his office one day, and he said, "Yeah, I'll take you out for lunch. Let's go." So we went out for lunch, and I had this business plan. And I had given him this business plan actually a week before, because I talked to him a little bit about this, and he brought it, and we're eating and we're talking, and he says, and I say, "What did you think of the business plan?" He said, "Yeah, it's pretty good. It's all right, And I said, "Well, and I flipped through it, and what do you think?" And he looks at it, and he goes to the last page, which is where it requires the funds to do it. And he says, "I'm not giving you $10,000. I'll buy that burger for you, but I'm not giving you $10,000. And what he taught me was, I need to make it on my own. I need to find my own way in this world. And he had to do that for himself, and nobody gave him a hand up. He worked hard for it, and he had success. And in my life, I've worked hard and I've had success. But I think if I had been given that, who knows? I don't know. I would have depended on just people handing out free stuff to me. So my parents were amazing. Both of them, unfortunately, are no longer with us, but they're in my heart, and I think about them every day. And I'm so grateful for the lessons that they taught me. Thank you.
Just let that settle in. Sounds beautiful. Thank you. What was your project?
Sorry?
What was your project?
Oh, it was selling records.
Selling records?
Yeah. Buying and selling records.
Yeah.
It'll never go. It'll never work.
I know, right? I still do that to this day, actually.
Actually, you've moved to snakes.
And snakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't snakes back then.
So my friends, let's turn to page 158 as we prepare to cross the sea. Three. So we turn to page 160. We haven't sung Hashkivenu for a really long time. Seems like a good idea to ask for shelter and protection. So for those of you who kind of remember the words, sing with us. The rest, la 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 la. Hashkivenu
Adonai Eloheinu Shalom, Shalom. Hamideinu Malkeinu L'chaim. Fros Aleinu Sukat Shlomo, Fros Aleinu Sukat Shlomo. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night. Turn away with morning's light. Teach us when we wrong from right. Amen. Amen.
We continue on page 162. So grateful for Shabbat every single week. We have a party every single week. I love it. The Shamru. את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותיי. בני בני ישראל, אותי לעולם. ששמעים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני, את השמיים ואת הארץ. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש. שמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם בריתם. שמעו בני ישראל את השבת. So we entered Tefillah together, page 164. We were reminded that we need help opening our lips and our hearts to God. So we ask for that. We connect with the energy of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Leah, and Rachel. And then we connect with the Creator, and we chant the words on page 168, Mashiv Haruach Umorid Agashem, that there should be wind and there should be rain in just the right amount. Adonai Sifatai tiftach ufi yagita hilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanura, El Gomer Chasedim Tovim, v'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Chaserot Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei Bneihem, Leman Shemo B'Yavad, Melech Hozer Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Bezrat Saram, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim Atah Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv Haruach Umorid Agashem, Mechakeh Chayim V'Chesed, Mechaye Metim V'Rachamim Rabbi, Somech Novlim V'Rofech Olim, U'Matir Asurim, Umekayem be'emunato lishnei Abba, lichamocha b'givurot, u'pridom melech memit u'machayeh, u'matzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atah l'hachayot metim. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hametim. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yalu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, El HaKadosh. Ritzei Adonai Elohim, La'amecha Yisrael. תקבל תהי לרצון תמיד עבודת ישראל The energy of this prayer on page 176 is to think about the blessings of the day, of the week, of our lives. Whatever comes to mind, we say thank you, and thank you, and thank you for so many blessings that we have been given. Let's turn to page 178. Shalom Rab, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rab, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Ki ata u'melech adon echad hashalom. Ki ata u'melech adon echad Shalom Rab, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rab, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלום Shalom Rab, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Shalom Rab, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Le'olam. Tasim So I'd like to invite Eli Swat to come up and share with us some of the lessons and the insights and the values that are being handed down to you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
My name is Eli Swat. I've been going to Bet Shalom my whole life. Rabbi Nancy asked me to speak about what life values I'm learning from my parents and grandparents. Philosophies I'm learning from my mother's side, Grandpa Bob and Grandma Amy. Honesty, be honest and caring towards others. Being honest can make you more friendly and trustworthy. Be true to your family heritage. My family heritage is very diverse. Although my father is Jewish, my mom's side of the family is Japanese and European. I respect the fact I am a descendant from these groups, and I stay true to my family heritage. Devotion to the sense of duty. My grandfather was in the military, and he risked his life in the army during the Vietnam War, spending much time in combat and nearly dying on several occasions. Philosophies I learned from my father's parents, Grandma Susie and Papa Steve. The golden rule: treat others like you would like to be treated yourself. If you treat people with respect, they will then treat you with respect. I believe helping someone who needs help and assistance. Nation of laws. My grandmother has worked in the state legislature for about 40 years, and she has taught me that we believe we live in a country of laws, and there's no one above the law, including the president. Philosophies I've learned from my parents, Robin and Jeff. Learn about different cultures and religions. It is important to learn about other religions to find out what we have in common and how we can appreciate our differences. Work hard to achieve your goals. From my parents, I've learned to work hard and to meet my goals. A perfect example of that has been studying and completing my religious training here at CBS and doing my best in high school so that I can have a great education. A sense of family. My parents try to do things with my sister and me together as a family. I'm also very lucky to have both sets of grandparents. I have learned the value of love and the beauty of belonging to close-knit families. Philosophies from my great-grandmother, Lillian. I also feel very lucky to have a living great-grandparent who lives so close to me. She has taught me to be strong-minded, active, and never give up. She has been playing the card game Bridge for a long time, and her goal is to become a lifetime grandmaster. As you can see, I have a lot of people in my life to learn from. Thank you for coming to tonight's service and on Zoom. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Just let that simmer. So beautiful. Lucky guy. Vivian, lucky, fortunate, beautiful family. So my friends, we're turned at this point to page 371 as we prepare for Misha Berach. So I'm going to ask you who you're praying for.
Morton Gloria Davis. Rebecca Luxford, Joe Lozelle, Owen Mainline, Julie B., Stanley Carter, Wade Woodman, Scott Appleby, Ralph and Carol Greco, Dr. Kazoon, Namaz, Aline, and Matt Gray.
Art Montoya, Rich Foreman, Joe and Becky Brockman, Sandra Albert, Jerry Steinke, Carol Wismiller, Laura Sender Lawrence, Faith Gobuddy, John Noxon, Sandy Lewin, Arlen Opper, Janice Schulman, Penny Clark, Bendon, John, and Juliana Blue. This Misha Berach, we repeat. Misha Berach,
Misha Berach,
Avotenu,
Avotenu,
Kor HaChayim,
Kor HaChayim,
Va'imotenu,
Va'imotenu,
Hu Yevarech,
Hu Yevarech,
Va'yirapeh,
Va'yirapeh,
Et HaCholim,
Et HaCholim,
Et HaCholim,
Et HaCholim,
El Narifana, El Narifana, El Narifana, El Narifana. Misha Berach,
Misha Berach,
Imotenu,
Imotenu,
Kor HaChayim,
Kor HaChayim,
Ve'avotenu,
Ve'avotenu,
Hu Yevarech,
Hu Yevarech,
Va'yirapeh,
Va'yirapeh,
Et HaCholim,
Et HaCholim,
Et HaCholim,
Et HaCholim,
El Narifana,
El Narifana, El Narifana, El
The words El Narifana mean please God, bring healing. So I'd like to invite Sharon to come forward and share with us some of the jewels that has been passed down to you from your parents or grandparents.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
I have to say, when Rabbi Nancy first asked me to speak about this, I was kind of, I wasn't quite sure what to do. And I realized that I had spent so much of the last more than 25 years being a parent that I hadn't thought, and I'm worrying so much about whether I was passing on the right values to my children. I hadn't thought for a while about what my parents had done and what I had learned from them. And my heart is, in fact, I had to call my sister which is also a sign of what they passed on to me, that I would do that. I had to call my sister and say, okay, well, what were the values that they passed on to us? And my heart has been so full in thinking about it and in thinking about this incredible through line of us, our parents, our ancestors, and all the way down for those of us who have children, all the way down to my children. And my heart is so full of this right now. And I appreciate being able to share a little of it with you. I was thinking about also the great folklorist Alan Lomax once said that people pass their culture on whole cloth to their children. They don't, even if they're not trying to, they just, there it goes. And I think that's true. I think that my parents, kind of like Rabbi was talking about earlier, there were things that they felt they need to put into words for us. And there were things that they just did. And the things that they needed to put into words were things that they felt were so important that they had to sit us down. And the first one I remember, I was a very little girl. It was, I guess, the late 60s, probably. And they sat us down and they told us and they taught us about racism in America. And this was something that they sat us down and talked to us about. And I remember it to this day, and very, very important, and made a big impact. And they drove us into neighborhoods where people of color were living that were, in horrible, horrible conditions, and said, people are living like this in America. This is how people have to live. And that stayed with me all my life. And the other thing they sat us down and taught us about very early was that we might grow up to be someone who loved someone of the same sex that we were, or we might grow up to be someone who did not identify in the same way as the mainstream. They taught us this really young, and they taught us about discrimination against people in the LGBTQ community before that there was language about that. And the third thing they sat us down and talked to us about was our Judaism. And I remember very clearly my mother, she said, we had been having dinners on Friday nights at our grandparents' house, always. But one day she sat us down and she taught us the blessing over the bread, the blessing for the candles, and the blessing for the wine. And she said, we are going to do this every Friday night. And she said, I personally do not believe in God, but I am not going to tell you what to believe, and I want you to know who you are. And that was the most incredible thing for me, because it was very freeing. She was not saying, this is how you have to be. She was saying, I'm giving this to you. And then there were the things that they didn't put into words. My mother was a fierce advocate for us. When we moved to Texas in the late 60s, there was it was the time of corporal punishment in schools and things like that. And there was a music teacher who, if you acted out, would hit you on the head with a rhythm stick. And my mother went down to the school, and of course, my brother's were getting hit on the head all the time. So she went down there, and then when they wouldn't stop it at the school level, she went to the school board. She went all the way to the school board, and that music teacher refused to stop doing it and was ultimately fired. And she didn't talk to us about that, but we saw it. We saw it. It was something that came without words. And our house was full of books. There were no bad books. They didn't have to say that to us. Our house was full of music. We all had music lessons. All music was good. And our house was full of people. full of people and full of family and full of stories. We heard all the stories, all the grandparents, all the aunts and uncles, all the history. They were, especially my father, was kind of a storyteller. He told us the stories, and I feel like this rich gift that was given to me. Like I said in the beginning, I'm always wondering if I gave enough of it to my children, but I think so. I think they have it. I think I gave it to them too. And I just want to share one small thing, which is a couple weeks ago, my younger son, Leo, who some of you know, we were here for a bat mitzvah in the synagogue. And he came up and he did an aliyah. And I don't know, I was sitting right where you are, I think. And all of a sudden I heard it, like I heard it in his voice coming out, doing that chanting. I heard those thousands of years of that through line. And it's just like it came, right down the line. And it was incredible. So those are all the things I feel like I received, not just from my parents, but from all of our ancestors and all of the people who came before us. And I appreciate the chance to share it all with everybody. So, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So while we will not have any further speakers to share, I hope that this weekend or tonight and tomorrow and the next day evokes that opportunity just to really reflect on what has been passed down. And just as Abraham passed down his values, even through Eliezer, his right-hand helper, we should think about that. And it does open your heart, right? It really does. Dear friends, I'd like us to turn now to page 376 as we offer a prayer for our country and for the state of Israel. Page 376. O guardian of life and liberty, may our nation always merit your protection. Teach us to give thanks for what we have by sharing it with those who are in need. Keep our eyes open to the wonders of creation and alert to the care of the earth. May we never be lazy in the work of peace. May we honor those who have died in defense of our ideals. Grant our leaders wisdom and forbearance. May they govern with justice and compassion. Help us all to appreciate one another and to respect the many ways that we may serve you. May our homes be safe from affliction and strife, and our country be sound in body and spirit. Amen. And for the state of Israel, Avinu Shabbat Sur Yisrael v'Goalo, Barech et Medinat Yisrael, Reshit Tzmichat Gulatenu, Hagen Aleha be'evrat chasdecha, Ufros Aleha Sukat Shlomecha, Ushlach Orcha ba'amitcha l'rashecha, Sareha v'yoatzecha, V'taknem be'etza tova milfanecha, V'natata shalom ba'aretz, V'simchat olam liyoshvecha, V'nomar, Amen. Amen. So, Roberta, dear, are you give announcements? To the left. Sherry, wonderful. You can do it in harmony. You can also follow a little bit on the back of your handout. There's a couple of things as a reminder as well.
Shabbat Shalom, and what a wonderful way of sharing the values, particularly pertinent since today is my dad's yahrzeit. So good time to think about all of that. So thank you to Rabbi Nancy and of course to the CBS House Band. I'm quite fond of all of them for leading us in tonight's service. David and I and Roberta and Dave are sponsoring tonight's oneg, so eat up. I think there's even more in the freezer because, tomorrow at 9 a.m. there is Torah study and it will be in person here at CBS. Sunday, November 20th is the annual turkey drive, so please participate in this event, and it supports the Sierra Arden Neighborhood Food Closet. You can bring the items that are listed in the flyers in the foyer or on our website to the scheduled drop-off on Sunday, which is going from 9 to 3 p.m., and no donation is too small. Every item makes a difference. I can vouch for the fact that Rayleigh has turkeys. So we were there this morning. On Monday, November 21st is Rosh Chodesh. We're learning about the herb basil and all it has to offer. I can't imagine Italian food without it. 6:30 p.m. on Zoom. Tuesday, November 22nd is an interfaith Thanksgiving. There are flyers with more information in the foyer. There will be no Shabbat services here next Friday, November 25th. Hopefully you'll be with family. Yard sites in Kaddish will, however, be read on Saturday morning at Torah study at 9 a.m. on Zoom. And so the link will be available on the website. You may have noticed that our gift shop has new hours, and it's opening 1 hour before Shabbat services and during Nishma. It is loaded with all kinds of cool Hanukkah stuff. So everybody needs another menorah. I just think that's the way it goes. Speaking of Hanukkah, we are having an annual fundraiser, a lovely in-person dinner on December 23rd, and pre-orders can be picked up on Sunday, December 18th. Again, lots of information that will be forthcoming during the weeks, and Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all.
So, dear friends, we conclude with Aleinu followed by Kaddish. Please stand, page 586. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol lateit gedula lioseh b'reshit shelo asanu kiguye haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot adama shelo samchokenu kahem v'goralenu kechol hamonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavinu modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Shehu Noteh Shamayim veYoser Haaretz, uMoshe V'Yikara B'Shamayim Mima'al, uShchinatu Zo, v'Govhei Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Einod, Emet Malkeinu Efesulato, Kagatu V'Torato V'Yadat Hayom V'Hashevota, Elevavecha, Ki Adonai Hu Elohim, B'Shamayim Mima'al, Ve'al ha'aretz, Mitachad Einod, V'ne'emar V'chaya Adonai, L'melech al kol ha'aretz, Vayom hahu, Yeh Adonai echad, U'shemo, Please be seated. We turn in our Siddur to page 598, and we remember with much love the yard sites and those who have died within the 11 months. The names are in your handout. Elaine Kaplow, Carlos Garcia, Eric Friedman, Herschel Adler, Barbara Norman, Magali Grace Verano Apasoa, Murray Steingart, Gary John Newman, Ronald Claffer, Chris Bagoon, Cecile Ash, Chris Wynot, Ethan Nava, Bernard Elliott Ezralu, Judith Spivak, Bill McDonald, Alan Blickstein, Carol Trachtenberg, Danny Yashby, Jean Rubin, Sarah Lipson, Karina Blue, Robin Ash, Ricky Joe Miller, Victor Gabriel, Etta Brody, Jen Garcia, Mark Kane, Ami Lustig, Carl Saperstein. And we remember with much love the yard sites of Melvin J. Bloom, Lillian Finkel, Cherry Lifton, Morris Lip, Leon Markman, Minnie Miller, Min Silverman, Izzy Smith, Mallory Smith, Charles Suffren, and Bryce Zarrett. Please share with me the names that are not listed amongst those who have lost someone. We stand as one family. We remember our 6 million. We remember those who died serving and protecting our country. We remember those who have died and protecting Eretz Yisrael. Zichronam Livracha, page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala b'zman kari v'imru amen. Yehi shemei Rabba mevorach le'olam u'almei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemed kudusha brichu. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mrumav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'akol Yisrael v'imru amen. Zichronam Livracha. May their memories always be for a blessing. Please be seated. So one of the very, very fun things about my incredible fortune of having these friends to make music with, is that I'll throw out a theme that I think we'll be talking about, and then they can choose the music they want to do, and then we learn it. So the closing song tonight is by Jason Mraz, and it's called Back to the Earth. And it's certainly great values to be handed down.
Whenever my head starts to hurt, before it goes from bad to feeling worse, I turn off my phone, I get down low, I put my hands in the dirt. Try to stop the world from moving so fast, try to get a grip on where I'm at, to simplify this dizzy life, to get my feet in the grass. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to work. I'm going back to the earth. The only explanation for a high rise must be that everybody wants to get high. Move on up to the deluxe apartment in the sky. But higher we go, the taller we grow. We lose sight of our land below. You can have your place up in outer space. 'Cause my home is where my food is grown. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to work. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to work. I'm going back to the earth. We are animals.
We are animals.
We are wild.
We are wild.
It started with emotion at the bottom of the ocean. Now it's ringing from the top of the trees. We are animals.
We are animals.
We are wild.
We are wild.
And to truly be forgiven, we must all get back to living with the land in harmony. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to earth. I'm going back to the earth. Sing along now. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to work. I'm going back to the earth.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to the earth. I'm going back to work. I'm going back to the earth.
Back to the earth.